As long as you're not like running at them, like with your hand over your head like this, I think you're going to be okay.
Right, exactly. Although, you can, the angle of the hips and the eyes, I mean, you can sort of, there's a lot of Aikido, like a lot of martial arts, is very heavy in the footwork. So, you step to one side and pivot around, and by the time they've swung their fist, they're overbalanced now, and you can just kind of, knock them over.
Yeah, but you take an NCAA D1 wrestler, good luck.
Put one of those guys against, O-Sensei or some of the people at the pinnacle of Aikido, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah, but against the best guy, you bring your best guy.
There actually were in the 70s several videotaped multi martial art competitions, expositions between O-Sensei, the founder, and several other principles of other martial arts.
Can you watch that online?
You can, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would like to watch that.
So,
how do you say this guy's name?
O-Sensei. O
and then Sensei.
Apostrophe Sensei. He has a name that I don't remember, but he's known as O-Sensei in Aikido.
What do you recommend? Like, what video? Is there one specific one that I could look at?
There's an exposition video from like the 70s that's sort of the big one that shows him, knocking people over without touching them and things. It's a little crazy.
A little?
Yeah, but like not his friends, like the karate master from Japan getting knocked over and things
without him touching them.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
how do
a
you
few
think
of
that worked? Knowing what you know about the mind,
probably because he gave us a little cue that made them prepare to move in one way, and then switched it, and they essentially using their mind against them, overbalancing them.
You believe that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? You think that a guy can knock a guy over with his mind just by giving him subtle cues?
Well, no. Yeah, like shifting your weight so the person attacking you shifts their weight, and then moving out of the way so the person falls over.
That doesn't work. That is only going to work on someone who doesn't know how to fight. 100%.
Well, you should look at some of these videos.
I would love to look at them right now with you. Okay, this is terrible. Fuck, he's doing. That guy's running into him. See, this is the thing with all these demonstrations. That guy's willingly cooperating.
Well, yeah, I mean,
look at that.
He's practicing the technique, and practicing technique, you either cooperate or your arm breaks.
Well, this isn't even cooperating. This guy's throwing himself on the ground. This is silly. This guy's running towards him and letting this guy clothesline him. Come on, that doesn't ever happen. The guy's just standing there. This would never work against a trained fighter. Never. Not in a million years. You get an NCAA Division I wrestler, he's going to shoot on this guy, and this guy's going to be on his head in seconds. It just doesn't work. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at nonsense.
Well, you're looking at people practicing techniques, not a multi.
Yeah, let's see the multi. What should he look for?
Exposition, I think, and I think it was in Japan. Maybe
exhibition or exposition.
I think it was exhibition.
Exhibition, not exposition. Yeah, exhibition. Tell me one of those looks good.
And then I think if you put either judo or karate in, you'll also find it, because it was a multi-martial art meeting in the 70s.
There's a lot of to martial arts, and a lot of people that get trapped into it. A lot of people that are very intelligent people that swear that their sensei is the guy that has the answers to all this jazz. And right now, that old dude with his clothesline technique. Well, this is hard to start,
from here. If you were in the dojo watching the footwork, you might, perceive it a little bit differently. Or watching someone who's not a 90-year-old guy with a polite student.
Right.
There are different.
Right. Shit. I've never seen it. I've every single one of those. I mean, I've seen some judo demonstrations where there was one that we played recently. It was amazing. There was this old judo, but the way he moved was logical. I mean, I understood that what he was doing was effective.
Yeah. Based
on my knowledge of the human body and movement. I'm watching some cooperation there. I'm watching a guy run into this guy's punches or this guy's forearms. Got anything, Jamie? No?
Turkish wrestler versus
Okay.
That sounds interesting.
A Turkish wrestler versus an Aikido guy. Okay. Let's see. First of all, the wrestler looks like he's about 60. And who knows if he's really a wrestler. Takes him down, like I thought. Mount, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Taps him, head and arm choke. That's what I thought. Now, let's see this again. Okay, he's going to try it again. Okay, here he goes. Grabs him, throws him to the ground again, grabs him, throws him to the ground. Yeah, this is what I expected. Exactly. See, this is what happens in real life. This is what happens. This is an arm bar. This is a guy who's not even good at arm bars. He needs the left leg over the face. And it's a beautiful art to practice. It looks cool, but it's like as far as like efficacy and actual grappling against, I just think as far as an actual martial art, it's one of the least effective in real practice.
I mean, yeah, but again, the goal is not necessarily face-to-face combat. You know, if you can pick other things that are more military and are trying to kill. When the goal is kill, the goal is not killing or meeting force with force. The goal is keeping people safe in Aikido.
That's
the
why
goal
I
in
brought
like
up
Krav
wrestling.
Maga is to kill you or to kill your opponent as quickly as possible.
Well, that's why
disable them.
That's why I brought up wrestling, because wrestling, the goal isn't to kill you either. Wrestling,
the goal is to get
just
points,
hold on to you. Well, the goal is to control your body, which would be probably the most effective way to avoid getting hurt. If you had someone coming at you, if you can control their body, they can't hurt you.
Sure. But controlling yourself is probably the higher focus on Aikido, I would say.
I think they got you.
Maybe they do. Maybe I've been indoctrinated.
Most of that stuff doesn't work. But
yeah, but you know that's also competition. I mean, I've been attacked in bars. You know, someone grabs me in a bar, and before they know it, I'm standing next to them, and they're not interested in attacking me anymore because their wrist is, you know, in pain, or they're on the ground, or you know, that's happened to me. I've used this stuff in real world environments, not against some like, you know, professional. You know, it's very valid. It's very useful.
Okay, what that means to me is it works great as long as the guy does.
Well, you know, a traditional martial artist isn't going to walk around trying to.
That's not the point, but that's not necessarily true. Because you could run into someone you know, they could have emotional issues. There's a lot of people that are skilled fighters that go and pick fights.
Yeah, I suppose.
And if you have Aikido and they have that, you're going to.
I'm not going to engage with their fight. I'm going to step aside when they, you know. And also, these guys are drinking beer in the bar. They're drunk and
you're in the bar
jerks.
too.
But I don't get out of control with alcohol.
You're assuming they do, though. I think
absolutely, I'm assuming they do.
Martial arts will work on trained killers, and Aikido just doesn't.
Okay.
It's just I want to shatter beliefs, but this is an important subject to me because it's something that I went through my entire adult life, and as a young man, I kind of went through the broad spectrum of what to believe in, what not to believe in. And
I have no problem that it's not a competitive martial art, and you know it doesn't work the way wrestling or Krav Maga or karate, you know, or judo. I'm okay with it being not as practical as those. I still think there's incredible benefit in learning to use your body and keep yourself safe in a crisis environment.
I'm very nervous about people getting inaccurate ideas in their head. And I've seen it in action. I mean, we used to have guys when I was my competition days that would come to the gym that had come from some crazy kung fu martial art where they had this distorted perception of reality, and they would spar with people who actually knew how to fight, and they would get knocked out. It was horrible to watch because they had this idea in their head of who they were, and then in practice it just didn't work at all.
Nobody in an Aikido center has an idea of themselves as a sparring fighter. That's not
but they have the idea of themselves as how well they would be able to keep someone away from them.
Yeah, if somebody grabs them or comes running at them.
That guy that we just saw get tackled over and over again very easily.
Sure, but you know, I wouldn't let the guy tackle me. I just wouldn't have been there.
What do you mean you wouldn't have been there?
He would have come at me. I would have stepped to one side and just not been in the way.
But don't you think that guy wanted to do that?
No, because he was trying for a specific technique. He was like, grab my arm and I'll do the technique I'm thinking of.
So do you think that if you were in a matted room with someone who's a trained grappler, you'd be able to keep them away from you?
For longer than that guy, yeah. Yeah, maybe not much longer.
Yeah, you got to try that. A lot of people have ideas in their head of what is possible.
Yeah.
But you got to put that in action.
I'm also heavily trained in restraining people.
How so?
I mean, I restrained people in psych hospitals for several years. That was my job. Crazy people flipping out, throwing chairs, you know, 6'5", 300-pound people. And I can restrain them alone often or with one other person. You know, one of the things that I think would be really interesting to talk to you about specifically is what is going on in the mindset of someone who is engaging in conflict.